The airline catering services industry is worth $6 billion in the US, but there is not much behind the scenes knowledge bestowed on the average traveler as to how the sausage gets made. Okay, let me back up. When you get to the airport, passport printing, done. Security screening, done. Passport control, checked. A cup of coffee, and a short line later, you are finally on board to plane. Now you buckle your seatbelt, leave it through the takeoff, and some 40 minutes later, you hear your favorite phrase in the world, chicken or fish. It seems that the real question is, to eat or not to eat. You see, airlines company plan all their meals up to 1 year in advance. And if you think airplane food is just some frozen stuff cooked months in advance, think again. Wait, don't say anything yet. Let me finish. The food is not prepared on the plane because there is no place to do it on board. It is prepared on the ground, not far from the airport. Large airline gathering companies such as LSG Sky Chef Sky produce a whopping 15,000 bread rolls an hour and more than 30,000 sandwiches a day. And mind you, they work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. What's even more unexpected for us simple passengers is that most dishes are prepared by hands, even though some processes are automated. For example, LSG Sky Chefs Frankfurt hired 2,075 employees who cook 85,500 meals a day. Also, the meal gets refreshed all the time according to the modern food trends. At the same time, your airplane food isn't exactly super fresh. Typically, your meal gets prepared 10 hours before you take that bite. Not, you wouldn't be able to take this food right after it's been cooked on the ground. The trick is that, let's say, chicken usually leaves the kitchen only 60% done and steak just 30% ready. After that, all the food gets chilled in special fridges and transported to the plane in a peculiar state. Not totally frozen, but not edible either. And the final stage of dish preparation happens on board. So how are plane meals prepared? Meals are usually prepared on the ground in gathering facilities close to the airport and then transported to the aircraft and placed in refrigerators for flight attendants to heat and serve on board. The caterers are more like the gentlemen that help airlines mass production thousands of meals a day. The airline's catering team is usually responsible for menu design. Given the number of airlines, both domestic and international, that serve food on board, there is some overlap between who the three major gathering groups work with. Just for you know, the people responsible for creating the meals usually test the dishes that are about to appear on the menu right up in the air. Well, there is a serious reason for that. When you are on the plane, your nose gets dry because of the low humidity. This, along with the pressure change during takeoff and even the constant noise from the engines, makes your taste buds not as perceptive as they are on the ground. In other words, you perceive no more than 30% of the taste of your food. That's why chefs had to add some extra ingredients such as extra salt, extra spice, extra sugar to all the dishes they cook. If they can't board right away, the meals wait in their own gate lounge. It's not like your lounge, but freezing cold and resembling a massive refrigerator. Then everything depends on whether the plane is ready to leave on time. If there is a delay, which is announced in advance, the food just stays in its fridge lounge. But what if it's already been delivered on board? In most cases, if the delay is too long, the airline just dump the load and ask the catering company for a replacement shipment. Oh man, what a waste. But I must admit, better that than getting food poisoning in mid-flight. So let's say the plane leaves on time, takeoff goes smoothly, and several hundred passengers follow the flight attendants with hungry eyes. No pun intended. That's the cabin crew's clue that it's time to reheat the meals. No, they don't show food trays in microwaves, probably because there is no microwaves on board. Instead, they use conventional ovens with fans that blow hot air onto the meals. It helps the food pretty fast, in about 20 minutes. While your food is steaming in the oven, emitting malt water smells, it's time for drinks. Now, I don't like and I've never ever drink tomato juice on the ground. Guess it's not my cup of tea, huh? Tomato juice. But in flight, oh boy, give me 2 or better. 3. Disappointingly, there is no mystery here. As you remember, In the dry air, your sinuses get booked up, and as a result, you start to crave salty and acidic stuff. Eventually, you get your food and bite into meal. After you finish, there are still some cookies left on the tray, but you are so stuffed, so you decide to leave them after all they are unopened, and surely the airline will be able to serve them on another flight. Unfortunately, it's against the law to reuse anything a passenger has had on their meal tray. It may spread disease, and airline companies don't want to take chances. That's why your cookies are going to be vacuumed into a special underground room and burned. To avoid such unnecessary waste, share the cookies with your neighbors or hide them in your carry-on to chomp them later. On the other hand, it's a great surprise to find out that all the dishes you eat from during the flight, even the plastic ones, are reusable. And the same catering companies that prepare the food for airline also have a huge dishwashing areas where they wash and sanitize plates, cups, and cutlery. What is interesting is that every plane has 3 sets of tableware. One is used on board of aircraft, the second is in the dishwasher, and the third set is always ready to replace the stuff that has been lost or broken. And finally, I want to warn you about one thing. Airlines state that the water they use to make hot drinks is safe to drink and meets all necessary regulations. But the fact is that the water tanks on planes often become a playground for all kinds of bacteria. For example, when the Environmental Protection Agency tested water taken from 300 aircraft back in 2004, the researchers discovered that 15% of all samples contain coli forms of bacteria, and since these bacteria are found in feces, they are typically used to determine how sanitary the water is. Nowadays, after new stricter rules and regulations have been introduced, the situation has significantly improved, but still, from time to time, routine checks prove that the quality of water on commercial airplanes is still an issue. If you are still worried, boiling the water should kill all the pathogen that could be in it. But as they say, better safe than sorry. That's why it's better to get your portion of caffeine in the terminal before the flight. Now, grab a cup of coffee and enjoy your flight. I made that up. Look at Armando sounding like flight attendant. Maybe I should apply for one. And why not? If you enjoyed the video, give a like and don't forget to subscribe for more videos every week. Take care and stay safe.